Are you talking about what's on the screen right now? This is allegedly the footage recorded in a manned mission to Mars, like a joint Vatican-Brazil mission, if I remember correctly. I mean, the Vatican can definitely fund whatever they want, but... Well, Flapop says, my problem with the video is that there's something flying around on Mars. They claim it has 1% of Earth's atmosphere. You can't fly in 1% of the Earth's atmosphere. I wouldn't believe any of the claims. So, again, this footage is allegedly from a non-NASA entity. This is from a Vatican-Brazil joint mission, allegedly. So it would have nothing to do with NASA or the claims NASA makes. Where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. Let me check that out. The shore of the Dead Sea in the West Bank, near the ruins of Qumran. I don't know. Let's see here. I don't think so. That'd be too obvious. Why would they do it there? So this is where they found it. Let's look at the background. Yeah, it's sort of, but I really don't think they would have filmed it there. It's too obvious. I mean, I wonder, I need to find some footage from the 70s from the air so we can go apples to apples. But here's what that landscape looks like. I mean, this photo is much better quality. I'm gonna find something from the 70s so that way we can get a similar look. I just don't really see any kind of grass features. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, let me get some 70s footage. Actually, so this is, it might be, let's look at Iran here. So, middle of nowhere Iran looks like this. Interesting. Huh, maybe. Who said Iran? Yeah, let me find some 70s footage of Iran from the air. Might not be so easy to find. Okay, the closest I could find is footage of jets in Iran. But you can see, one of them you can kind of see the landscape in the background, so let's compare here. Gonna take a second here. But it's from the 70s with 70s cameras, so it'll be a little bit, we could get a little bit more apples to apples. Huh. What does everybody think here? Maybe. I wish there was just more footage here. Maybe. Look at that. That's probably the best shot that was just there. The shot right here. Right here. That's Iran from the air. I mean, it looks a little different, though. Not quite. Not quite. But that's what makes the video so interesting. Like, it's semi-plausible. It's on Earth somewhere. Maybe Antarctica, who knows, but... Alright, check you guys out later. Indy Cindy, welcome Sandro. Flat Bob says, even if you see the Vatican archives, all the books are in old languages. You wouldn't be able to actually read any of it. That's interesting, but would there be like a real Rosetta Stone, though? Which is another topic for another podcast on how that's all fraud. And so everything is mistranslated. But the Vatican might actually have real translations. Because if Tartaria was around as recently as 100 or 200 years ago, and it was its own language, they might be able to translate everything. Yannick says, I've been in the Guajira Desert in Colombia. Let me check that one. It kind of, I mean, Iran's a pretty good guess. I mean, there's some similarities there. Let's see here. From the air. Oh, wow. It does look a little bit similar. So this is... I just missed it. What country was that? Colombia. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, let me see if I can get any footage from the 70s. I mean, it looks like there's a lot more green there in Colombia. But it has some stretches, and the constituency of the sand does kind of look... The constituency. It might be. It might be. Look, it does look quite... Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. Maybe. No, that's nice, Yannick. That it might be. I just want to see if it has like just bigger stretches out there, because there's complete flat areas, and then there are a few areas with some of these mounds, and also rock features here. So maybe, and there. I mean, there was also like this one African desert. I don't remember the name of it. So yeah, I can't find anything from the 70s in Colombia, but yeah, maybe. I mean, it kind of almost looks too big, though. Like, Iran is so huge with these areas. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's go over one more topic here before I wrap this up. What does everybody want to go over? We got room for one more. We kind of went way off track there. Flat Bob says, Mars is allegedly much smaller than Earth. Where's the curvature? Sarah says, I remember when fighter jets would fly over my house when I was little, they would fly so low. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Has there been more or less fighter jet activity over the past decade or two? I do vaguely remember there being more of them, I want to say between 2000 and 2010. I can't remember the last time I saw or heard one. Yannick says, have you touched the topic of microzyma Antoine Béchamp versus Louis Pasteur? Yeah, I've talked about that. I think I had a clip. Maybe I should re-upload it. I don't know if I put the clip up on this channel. Oh, did you guys want the Bill Cooper clip, interview clip, or do you want to go over one other topic? Or are we going to stay on the... you know, I might as well stay on topic here. Let's do the Bill Cooper Terziski clip. Unless you guys have something else in mind. And then we'll wrap it up.
Well, once again, welcome to the hour of the time.
Maybe we'll just do a little sneak preview here.
The only hour that...
definitely a non-American.
We're going to talk about it in depth, where it came from, who's developed it, is it real, is it not real? And by now, those of you who have been listening to this show for some time probably have realized that once again we're going to talk about UFOs. I first met this gentleman during my lecture tours several years ago, when I began to notice that right in front of my podium in the first row, the same gentleman seemed to be following me around the country and always had very penetrating questions to ask. We eventually struck up conversation, got to know each other, and I found that behind the beard was a very good brain that was working all the time. Some of his research has paralleled mine, and he certainly knows a lot more about some parts of this mystery than I do. And that's what we want to get at tonight. We want to sort of pick his brain and get to what he knows about this mystery called UFOs. His name is Vladimir Terziski, and he is originally from Bulgaria. And Vladimir, welcome to the Hour of the Time.
Thank you very much, Bill. I'm very happy to be a part of this great show, probably one of the best shows on the West Coast.
Thank you.
Definitely a non-American
What kind of shows is he watching on the East Coast?
show without any commercials, intellectual show that would make people to think, something that seldom happens here. More easily one can find such a show in Europe, for example.
Well, you know a lot about that because you come from a country that was traditionally, you weren't allowed to have any freedom of speech at all, were you?
And that's exactly how we learned to look for good shows.
There are stories of a giant, they say giant, nobody really knows how big this thing was, but it was an airship that went across the country.
Those airships.
Well, not ghosts, because this thing actually landed, people got out and talked to people.
Anti-gravity lift.
I'm just going to skip through it real quick.
Space-time, and it's always been my contention that these machines are time machines. What do you think about that?
A very good point. They may introduce little distortions in time that an accurate time, atomic time clock would measure, as an artificial satellite that has atomic time clock on board would measure a little delay in time. Even an atomic time clock spun around the globe on a standard passenger jet plane would show a little delay, so they do interfere with space-time. But if you're talking about a practical time machine that would take us backwards or forward in time, it would take a little bit more hardware and gadgetry. But it is still easily attainable. My feeling is that these are technologies that were attained by both the Germans and this country's government almost half a century ago. But this would be a topic of an entirely different discussion.
So, yeah, in terms of UFOs, real or blue beam, that's a false dichotomy logical fallacy, because both. So, I mean, the Germans obviously developed some kind of UFOs, and then eventually the U.S. did as well. I mean, there's videos of them. So, now, obviously, Project Bluebeam, also an actual real project. Serge Monast, I believe, the first to blow the whistle, and then Bill Cooper after that. And then Alex Jones and all the others came after. But, and then also, if there are other entities visiting the Earth from other dimensions, not necessarily other planets, that could be as well. Or, yeah, fallen angel. I mean, there's a lot of options there. So, we don't need to fall for logical fallacies regarding that. So, yeah, anybody else?